There's a number you know without checking. It's there when you wake up, when you shower, when you go about your day. It's automatic, living in the back of your mind like a dull ache. You don't choose to know it, it's just there. Rent is due soon, and you do the math without thinking. The calculation is as involuntary as breathing or blinking. This is the reality for anyone whose financial life has no margin for error. The number is always present, shaping every decision, every moment. You've been doing these calculations for years. The job you took wasn't your dream, it was the one that called back. You told yourself you'd stay 6 months, find something better, but months turned into years. Every paycheck is mapped out before it arrives, every dollar assigned. The math is relentless, a constant background process. You don't choose to do it, it just happens because your life demands it. There's no room for error and you know it. After taxes, after rent, after transport, after groceries, after the phone, the internet, and student loans, you're left with $317. You remember writing it on the back of an envelope your first week. You kept the envelope, not sure why. Maybe because the number felt important, maybe because it was more than just a number, it was the shape of your life. Every month, $317 is what's left for everything else. For the unexpected. For the life that happens in the margins. Life doesn't fit in $317, it never did. The first reset comes when the car breaks down. The mechanic hands you a bill for $440. You do the math again, standing in the garage, feeling the familiar calculation run through your mind. You had $620 saved. Now, after the repair, you're left with $180. You start over. This is how it goes. Every unexpected expense resets the clock and you begin again. A few months later, it's a medical bill. Something you put off because putting it off was free, but addressing it was not. After insurance, it's $290. You pay it and you start again. The cycle repeats. You save, something happens, you reset. Even when you finally get ahead, $800 saved after weeks of careful choices. A rent increase absorbs it. The buffer becomes necessity, not progress. You start again. This isn't failure. It's not about poor decisions or lack of discipline. The pattern is structural. It's what happens when income and expenses occupy the same space with no room between them. Anything unexpected collapses the margin. Every month starts at zero, no matter how careful you were before. You're not moving backward, but you're not moving forward either. It's a treadmill that demands your full effort just to stay in place. 25. A raise comes through $6,200 more a year. After taxes, it's $341 more a month. For a moment, you feel the difference. But then expenses rise. Car insurance renews at a higher rate. The landlord raises the rent. A forgotten streaming service charges you unexpectedly. The extra money disappears, not all at once, but in small, reasonable pieces. The total of those pieces is your raise. You earn more, but you have the same amount. This is when the first question forms, not out loud, but as a suspicion at the edge of your thinking. Maybe the problem isn't the amount coming in. Maybe it's something else, something structural. You don't have the language for it yet, but the question is there. And once it's there, it doesn't leave. You start reading, not self-help, but about systems, about how capital moves, about the difference between a salary and an asset. Read about why your bank pays 0.01% on savings while using your money to earn much more. You learn about index funds, compounding, and the difference between earning money and owning things that earn money. The distinction is simple. A salary requires your presence. An asset does not. The engine of wealth is converting labor into assets, turning the time you sell into things that work while you're not working. That's the whole game. Read this late at night, sitting on the floor because your couch is broken. No one ever taught you this. You open an investment account with $400. The app asks about risk, time, goals. You answer honestly, approve the suggested portfolio, and transfer the money. For 3 days, you don't look. On the fourth, it's $391. The $9 loss feels like evidence that you made a mistake. But you don't withdraw. You set up an automatic transfer and close the app. You decide not to look for 30 days. When you check, it's $487. You don't touch it. The months pass slowly with no visible evidence that it's working. The temptation to stop is constant, but you keep going, not because you're certain, but because the math doesn't require certainty. The account grows, $900, then $2,400. It's just a number on a screen with no real-world impact yet. But you continue, because you know feeling it comes later. 27. You change jobs, not dramatically, but with a slight increase. The new salary is $46,000. You don't upgrade your lifestyle. Instead, you automate the difference, $350 more a month, directly into your investment account. It never touches your checking balance. This isn't about discipline or willpower. It's about automation. The human brain isn't designed to resist available money, so you make it unavailable before you can spend it. Read that the solution is to make money unavailable before your brain knows it exists. It sounded too simple, but it works. The account crosses $10,000 on a Friday. You check it during lunch in your car, away from the office chatter. The number is $10,340. You look at it, finish your lunch, and go back inside. No celebration, just a quiet moment. That night something shifts inside you, a small recalibration, a subtle change in how the future feels. It's not euphoria, it's not a bright light, it's just enough to see the shapes of things. You're 29. The account is at $31,000. Your salary is $52,000. You haven't told anyone the number in your account, not friends, not family, not even the person you're seeing. You say less, build more. You've learned that even a modest amount of money makes relationships complicated. You keep the number private, not secretive. There's a difference. You have no shame about the number. You have enormous intention. You keep building. At 32, you fix the couch spring for $40 in 40 minutes with a YouTube tutorial. The laptop is open. A spreadsheet models the next 10 years. The number at year 10 isn't extraordinary, but it's real. You can see yourself reaching it. That's new. The ability to see a future financial state as a real destination, not a fantasy. Shift isn't about the number in the spreadsheet. It's about the stability that makes it possible to look 10 years forward without it feeling like fiction. At 23, you couldn't see that far ahead, not because you lacked imagination, but because the ground wasn't stable enough. Now, at 34, the account crosses $100,000. You're making coffee, checking your phone out of routine, not anxiety. The number is $100,400. You put the phone down and finish your coffee. There's no feeling you were promised, no arrival, no resolution. What you have is clarity, a quiet understanding of what this number means. $100,000 at a 4% return is $4,000 a year. That's not a salary, not a life. But for the first time, the machine has real mass. Compounding has enough to compound against. The system you've built over 11 years finally feels like a system, not just hope. Now you want more, not out of hunger or ambition, but something colder, more mechanical, more patient. You've crossed a threshold. The threshold was never the money, it was the behavior the money made possible. Below it, every decision was reactive. The car brakes, you respond. Rent goes up, you respond. Medical bill arrives, you respond. You're always in response mode, always one event away from starting over. Above the threshold, decisions become proactive, strategic, chosen rather than forced. You're no longer responding to the financial life happening to you, you're designing the financial life you're moving toward. It's not a personality change or a mindset shift, it's what stability makes possible. The people who say wealth is a mindset aren't wrong, they're just describing the effect, not the cause. The mindset follows the stability, not the other way around. Somewhere, someone is lying in bed, staring at their phone, watching a number that hasn't changed in months. They think the problem is income. They're wrong, not about income mattering, but about what really changes everything. The variable is not the income, but the structure the income flows into. And the structure is invisible until someone shows it to you. But no one does, not school, not parents, not the job, not the bank. Distance between lying in the dark, watching a number that doesn't change, and standing at a kitchen counter watching it cross $100,000 is not a salary. It's a decision. The decision to open the account with $400, to not look for 30 days, to automate transfers, to not stop when $2,400 felt like nothing, to fix the couch instead of buying new. It's 11 years of small decisions that looked like nothing from the outside. That's what $100,000 is, not a number, not an arrival, not a destination. It's the evidence of 11 years of decisions that no one saw you make, and it's the beginning of the next 11. The machine has mass now. You let it run. The journey continues, not with dramatic moments, but with quiet, consistent choices. The story of building wealth is not about sudden windfalls, but about invisible, patient progress. Every day the calculation runs in the background. It's not just about numbers, but about the mental load of always being aware. You know the cost of every decision, every outing, every unexpected event. The math is always there, shaping your choices, your habits, your future. It's exhausting, but it's also what keeps you afloat. The calculation is survival, not just budgeting. When there's no margin, every month is a reset. You can't plan for the future because you're always recovering from the past. The smallest setback wipes out weeks of progress. It's not about being irresponsible, it's about the structure you're trapped in. The system is designed to keep you reacting, not planning. The only way out is to change the structure, not just the numbers. The emotional weight of living with no margin is heavy. You feel it in your body, in your sleep, in your relationships. Every decision is loaded with anxiety. You say no to things not because you want to, but because you have to. The constant vigilance wears you down, but you keep going because stopping isn't an option. The hope is that one day the calculation will change. The first time you see your account grow, it doesn't feel real. The numbers are small, the progress invisible, but something shifts. You start to believe that maybe with enough time things can be different. The belief is fragile, but it's enough to keep you going. Each month the number grows a little more. The calculation starts to include hope. You realize that willpower isn't enough. The trick is automation, making the right choice once, then letting the system do the work. You set up transfers, adjust your accounts, and remove the need for daily discipline. The less you have to think about it, the better. Automation protects you from yourself, from temptation, from the endless calculation. Crossing $10,000, $30,000, $50,000, none of these moments are dramatic. There's no celebration, no sense of arrival. Each milestone is just another step. The real change is internal, a growing sense of stability, a quiet confidence that you're building something real. The milestones are markers, not destinations. You learn to keep your progress private, not out of shame, but out of intention. Money changes relationships. Friends and family react in ways you can't predict. Privacy protects your progress, your peace of mind, and your future plans. You share less, build more. The journey is yours alone. With stability, you can finally look ahead. You model the next 10 years not as a fantasy, but as a real possibility. The numbers aren't extraordinary, but they're achievable. For the first time, you can see a future that belongs to you. The ability to plan, to dream, to build, that's what stability gives you. When your account crosses $100,000, you realize it's not freedom or retirement. It's not the end. It's the first time the system has enough weight to feel real. Compounding finally has something to work with. The machine you've built is no longer just hope, it's a functioning system. You want more, but the wanting is different now. It's not desperation, it's momentum. The biggest change is moving from reactive to proactive. Below the threshold, every decision is a reaction to crisis. Above it, you start making choices for the future. You're not just surviving, you're designing your life. Stability makes this possible. It's not about mindset first, it's about building the foundation that allows the mindset to follow. No one teaches you the structure. Not school, not family, not work. The system is invisible by design. You learn by doing, by making mistakes, by reading late at night when you should be sleeping. The lessons are hard-won, but they're yours. The structure is what changes everything, not just the numbers, but the way you live. The journey is a series of small decisions. Opening the account, automating transfers, fixing the couch instead of buying new, saying no when it's easier to say yes. Each choice is invisible to others, but together, they build something substantial. The evidence is in the account, but the real change is in you. Now the machine has mass. You let it run. The process is set, the system works. You check in, monitor, adjust as needed, but the heavy lifting is done. The hardest part was starting, then sticking with it when progress was invisible. Now you trust the process. The machine works for you. Stability isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you can handle what comes next. It's the ability to look forward, to plan, to rest. The power of stability is in the freedom it gives you, not to spend, but to choose. That's the real reward. There's no dramatic arrival, no finish line. The milestones are quiet, the progress is slow. The real change is in how you feel about the future. The myth is that wealth is a moment. The truth is that it's a process. The journey continues, one decision at a time. Patience is the hardest part. The months pass slowly when you're building something invisible. The temptation to stop is always there. But patience is what turns small decisions into big results. The account grows, the system strengthens, and one day you realize you've built something real. The number in your account is evidence, not of luck, but of effort. It's the sum of years of choices, sacrifices, and persistence. It's not a destination, but a testament to what you've built. The evidence is quiet but undeniable. You earned it, one decision at a time. Crossing $100,000 isn't the end. It's the beginning of the next chapter. The machine has mass, the system works, and you're ready for what comes next. The journey continues, not with dramatic changes, but with the same quiet, consistent effort. The future is yours to design. Structure is what changes everything. It's not about how much you make, but how you manage what you have. The invisible system you build is what creates freedom, not the numbers themselves. The power is in the structure, in the process, in the discipline of building quietly over time. Most of the progress is invisible. No one sees the sacrifices, the choices, the patience. The outside world only sees the result, not the process. But you know the truth. The progress is real, even when no one else notices. That's what makes it yours. With stability, you're no longer reacting, you're designing. You choose your path, set your goals, and build toward them. The power to design your life is the real reward. It's not about the number in your account, but about the freedom to choose your future. You let go of the idea of arrival. There's no finish line, just the ongoing process of building, adjusting, and growing. The journey is what matters. The machine runs, the system works, and you keep moving forward. That's the real story of building wealth. This is just the beginning. The machine has mass, the system is in motion, and the next 11 years are waiting. The story isn't about a number, it's about the evidence of years of decisions, the quiet power of structure, and the freedom to design what comes next. You let the machine run.